At my last update, flights were all on hold because of this violent, severe weather moving through. Getting to the terminals and the concourses was very difficult because the trains had stopped operation out of an abundance of safety. And I would not be surprised if a number of flights were diverted because, as we have been seeing all afternoon, this weather that's coming through is just so intense. And as we enter Pena Boulevard, you can see there's still a lot of water on the ground. So if you're heading eastbound or really anywhere through the metro area, do not be surprised if you see some localized flooding, because that's what we have seen, Mike and Ann, in the last 40 minutes or so that we've been on the road.
And I'm not seeing a lot of traffic there in your picture, Mark. Earlier we were hearing there was a lot of people on the roads out there. What are you seeing now?
Right now, traffic is pretty light. I know at one point the airport sent out, a campaign, a social media campaign, telling people to stay home because they didn't want them to be in this area. And I think people really did heed those warnings, either through Twitter or just through watching the news. But traffic is picking up once again, and the skies are starting to clear. Dare I say, we see some sun. So heading eastbound is pretty good. I think it will be a different story, though, once we get to the airport. I would not be surprised if there's a considerable amount of, backs, delays, and cancellations.
That's probably the case, Mark. Thanks so much. And of course, again, the lockdown on the airport, not the lockdown, but the hold on flights coming in and out has now been lifted. Security lines are now working again at the airport, so things are back to normal. So that's good news for that area. But he's also heading right into an area and where that storm is moving right in that same direction, right down I-70.
And that's exactly where Matt Makins has been. He's been following that storm, and he's joining us once again because you've been watching these menacing clouds all afternoon, Matt.
And the circulation as a whole has actually gotten a lot broader, which means this tornado is still possible, but the likelihood has dropped a little bit as it has gotten so broad. As Corey pans around, the view here is just amazing. It's a really wide circulation. It's a couple miles big. Whereas the point where it touched down near Watkins, when we actually had that tornado, the circulation was much tighter, so it's broadening. It means it's going through that cycle again, that power cycle. You can see some of these white clouds right in the center there. That would be the tightest area of rotation. That would be more of the wall cloud sitting underneath the shelf cloud. But basically, you're taking a dinner plate, and then you're putting a cereal bowl underneath it. The shelf cloud would be the dinner plate on top. The cereal bowl underneath, also spinning, is the cereal bowl. That cereal bowl spins much tighter. That's what a wall cloud is, and that's the most likely area to have a tornado. But even over to the left, Corey, as there's a lowering on this side, you're getting wind coming down out of the thunderstorm on the back side of it. It's called a rear flank downdraft, or it's where the air is coming down out of the storm, hits the ground, and it tries to lift the air back up. So even on the back side of this rotation, you can see these scary looking clouds as they appear that are lifting up. Those are not necessarily tornadic. You could see some dust devils associated with it, but it's really the center of the storm, the leading edge of the circulation today, where we've had the best chance for tornadic development, and that's the area of the storm that the Watkins tornado came from. Again, is the leading edge where you're looking at right now. It's really slowed down a lot, too. The whole storm has. It kind of cruised up to about DIA, and then it's putting on its parking brakes, probably in part because of the elevation base that it's hitting. It's hitting some higher terrain here out by DIA versus down in Denver. But as it continues to circulate, it's moving very slowly, almost due to the east. So we're going to see it track left to right or west to east as it does so. Also seeing a bit of dust trying to kick up on the backside. What looks like dust on the outside where I talked about that rear flank downdraft, that should not be confused with anything like a tornado. That's just areas where the cold air is coming out of the storm, hitting the ground and forcing up some dust. It's really all this wraparound stuff. You look where the clouds are wrapping around it very quickly, and you look in the center of that. That's the most likely area for a tornado. At this time, you're seeing a lot of opaqueness to the sky underneath, and that's all rain. It's still going to be a rain-wrapped tornado if anything touches the ground, but very broad. From left to right, it's a good couple of mile coverage. That's just the rotating part of the storm, not the entire storm. But Mike and Ann, as you're looking at Corey's shot here, widens it, gets in nice and tight to some of the clouds. It is a dramatic picture out here, and we're close to the Bennett Bennett interchange right along I-70, and we're looking maybe about a mile to the north of us is the cloud cover that we're talking about.
Tell us about your safety there, Matt. Can you stay where you are for very long, or are you going to have to get out of the way?
We can stay here just fine. We're in a very safe spot. We could just saddle up here and be fine throughout the storm. If we need to move to stay in position to continue to chase the storm, we actually take right angles. We'll go east then north and east then north. Right now, we would be needing to take our easterly jaunt to get back ahead of the storm, and then we would go north to stay in the positions like we've shown you throughout the day. But our position is very safe. It's rain-free where we are right now. The wind is light again where we are right now. But Corey's going to show you one hazard that is out here on the roads, and that is the amount of A, chaser traffic, B, official spotter traffic, and C, just citizens that are lining up the sides of the roads, hopping out, taking cell phone photos, and as we've learned in the past, that's very dangerous to do so. They're blocking up traffic. There's a lot of ambulances and fire trucks that passes because those are official government spotters that are trying to get into their positions. So you can see just kind of the congregation of traffic that's built up watching this same system. So honestly, we are very safe from Mother Nature. The thing we have to watch out for is gawkers this afternoon.
Well, and of course, there are plenty of people who are still trying to figure out, should they go pick up the kids this afternoon? Should they haul out all the rain gear? What should they do this afternoon? Thank you, Matt Makins. We'll check back with you here in just a moment because, this is troublesome for a lot of folks because here it is just after 3 o'clock.
Exactly.
And trying to figure out what their next course of action is as they deal with a lot of the splashback and the heavy water that's on the roads because, again, as we sit here and monitor Facebook and Twitter and so forth, we're seeing some of the police agencies that are saying, watch out for some of those puddles that have accumulated because you do not want to drive through high water. You want to wait, go around it. In fact, I think some folks have even had to pull over to the side because you can see some of the hail that has accumulated there on the right side of your screen.
What a mess out there. Kirsten Horn is near Pena and C-470. Kirsten, what's it like out where you are right now? We're looking at your live picture.
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic out here, and I want to tell you the best news really is the fact that the sun's starting to come out and it's going to hopefully start to melt some of this hail on the ground. You see the hail on the side of the road. It is impressive in this area. Of course, it's causing a lot of problems as far as traffic goes, but we're seeing a couple of inches accumulate on the side of the road. Again, the sun's starting to come out, so hopefully we'll start to see this melt. But we were on the opposite side. We're now heading west. We were on the opposite side of B470 earlier, and it was down to one lane because there was so much hail that had accumulated on the roadways that they only really had one lane that was cleared. So it wasn't even a traffic issue to make it into one lane. It was the fact that there was so much hail on the roadways.